The real origins of the Second World War. The Second World War burst into motion on September 1, 1939, when German forces swept into Poland with astonishing speed. But this single morning was only the culmination of 2 decades of anger, fear, miscalculation, and ambition. To see how Europe reached the point of collapse, we have to return to the final days of World War I, when Germany's exhausted soldiers were retreating toward a broken homeland. In 1918, Germany was starving, the army was crumbling, and Kaiser Wilhelm II abandoned his throne. The war ended on November 11th, but something poisonous lingered, a belief that Germany hadn't truly been defeated in battle. Instead, many claimed the country had been betrayed by weak politicians. This stab-in-the-back myth spread quickly, shaping political resentments for years to come. Soon after the armistice, world leaders met to piece Europe back together. U.S. President Woodrow Wilson envisioned a new global order built around a League of Nations, a forum meant to settle disputes peacefully. The Treaty of Versailles attempted to redraw the continent. Huge empires disappeared, replaced by new states like Czechoslovakia, Poland, and Yugoslavia. Germany, meanwhile, lost territory and was burdened with a staggering $6.6 billion in reparations. But these new national borders carried hidden fractures. Many of the new countries, especially Czechoslovakia, contained large German minorities. Their presence would later become ammunition for German aggression. To make matters worse, the United States refused to join the League of Nations, weakening the very system designed to keep world peace. Germany, now a young democracy known as the Weimar Republic, found itself in chaos. Political violence erupted between right-wing nationalists and communists. Then came 1923, the year hyperinflation obliterated people's savings. Entire families watched their life earnings become worthless. In this climate of despair, radical voices multiplied. One of those voices belonged to Adolf Hitler, an Austrian veteran who settled in Munich after the war. He joined a tiny group called the National Socialist Party, quickly took control of it, and in 1923 attempted a coup. The beer hall putsch failed miserably, landing him in prison for 9 months. While incarcerated, he wrote Mein Kampf, laying out his hatred of Jews and his vision of Germany expanding eastward. After his release, Hitler rebuilt the Nazi Party legally, gradually expanding its influence. For a time, the extremists seemed to fade as Germany stabilized. Then, the U.S. stock market crashed in 1929, unleashing a global economic crisis that shattered the fragile recovery. Unemployment in Germany soared above 6 million. Desperate and disillusioned, millions of citizens turned to the Nazis. By 1931, the party had become a national force, backed by a gigantic paramilitary wing, the SA, numbering nearly 3 million men. In the 1932 elections, the Nazis became the largest party in the Reichstag. Political paralysis followed. In January 1933, President Paul von Hindenburg reluctantly appointed Hitler as chancellor. Weeks later, the Reichstag building mysteriously burned. Hitler blamed communists and pushed for emergency powers. Within months, he dismantled Germany's democracy. Once Hindenburg died in 1934, Hitler merged the presidency with his own role, declaring himself Führer. At first, Hitler appeared focused on rebuilding Germany. Massive public works, including thousands of miles of Autobahn, reduced unemployment and created an illusion of stability. Yet behind the scenes, he was secretly rearming the nation in open violation of the Treaty of Versailles. By 1935, secrecy no longer mattered. Hitler unveiled a brand new air force with 2,500 aircraft and revived conscription. The army ballooned far beyond treaty limits. Britain and France protested but backed down, convinced that accommodating Hitler might preserve peace. Germany pushed further. It reoccupied the Saarland in 1935 and the Rhineland in 1936, both major violations of Versailles. Again, no one stopped him. As the 1936 Berlin Olympics dazzled international visitors, the growing persecution of Jews, stripped of citizenship and forbidden to marry non-Jews, was largely overlooked by a world eager